Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. I'm laughing about the stuff that's in the second half. We've got all sorts of battles, including a really fun comedian battle. But it's a little long. I'll save that for the second half. Some late night jokes. John Oliver was talking about former President Trump trying to raise some money and said, "This is a man who talks nonstop about how he's one of the richest men on earth, begging strangers for money in a hostage video that looks like it was filmed in a house haunted by the world's tackiest ghosts." Oliver made fun of the various merch options you can buy from Trump, including the infamous Bible and some Trump cologne. Oliver was fascinated by a mini speaker that bears Trump's likeness. A great joke here. He goes, "I assume it's way too loud and never dies." There's also a gold Trump-branded earbud case, and Oliver said, "You know how you can never tell which AirPods are yours and which are your friends because all the cases look the same? Well, if you get these, you'll lose all your friends instantly. Problem solved." Jimmy Fallon talked about this Google lawsuit. You see, they were collecting some data on their incognito browser there, so if you were on OnlyFans, watching Whitney Cummings specials, as we all do in the basement, I get it. Jimmy Fallon said in order to settle a privacy lawsuit, Google has pledged to destroy millions of users' browsing data, and based on your silence, it sounds like there are some very relieved people. Last night, I was planning on having a big TV comedy night. Hopefully that happened. I was planning on watching Demitri Martin's special, and the Daily Beast got me even more excited about it with this headline: Demitri Martin made a Netflix hour that's actually special. If you listen every day, you know my whole thing about specials versus hours, and we're throwing everything up there on the internet, including, me doing 8 minutes at the Chuckle Hut going, "New special." I've never done 8 minutes at the Chuckle Hut. I am not a comedian, in case you can't tell. The Daily Beast writes, "Many of us fall into the same trap every time we open Netflix's comedy page, watching the latest special from the same mainstream comedians we've been watching for years. It can be high risk for comedians to break the mold and warp the conventions of comedy. It can also be high reward, with specials like Hannah Gadsby's Nanette or Bo Burnham's Inside receiving critical acclaim. The reimagining of comedy forms the basis of Demitri Martin's Demitri Deconstructed, with a black and white trailer that immediately stood out, blah, blah, blah. Combined with a jazz theme and plenty of Wes Anderson-esque symmetry, Martin's special feels like something that was designed with purpose, streamlined for streaming, as comedy specials should be, rather than left as a lucrative afterthought following a money-making tour." Ouch. The New York governor, Kathy Hochul, and Tracy Morgan joined the New York State Department of Motor Vehicles to encourage New Yorkers to give the gift of life by joining the New York State Donate Life Registry. April is National Donate Life Month, which shines a spotlight on the urgent need for organ, eye, and tissue donors. I will also encourage you to be an organ donor. I am an organ donor. My personal philosophy is, I'm dead. Maybe these parts could help someone else. Tracy Morgan underwent a kidney transplant back in 2010. He credits that with saving his life. Tracy said, "I'm living proof of the benefits of organ donation and has given me an opportunity to show people that you can go on and live a full life when you find a match. My donor saved my life, and by enrolling in the New York Donate Life Registry, you could help save many others." One organ donor can save up to 8 lives and heal 75 more through eye and tissue donation. Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers are working on the Las Culturistas Culture Awards. It's moving to the King's Theater in Brooklyn for its 3rd annual show, June 15th. 100 or so categories brainstormed by Yang and Rogers. Some mainstays include a Record of the Year and the Cate Blanchett Award for Good Acting. They were asked if Taylor Swift might participate. If Taylor wants to send in a video, that'd be great. Our message to her and her publicist is, help us help you. Play ball. But she may not be in her sending videos to fake award shows era anymore. The ceremony was hosted at Lincoln Center for the past 2 years and had 2,600 attendees. Bowen said, "We're moving indoors so that people can enjoy upholstered seating finally. I think people are too used to uncomfortable posterior resistance. I think they're used to hard plastic chairs. Since our basement days, we haven't given them a full award show experience, and we're aiming to give that holistic packaging of being an honest-to-goodness award show." The past shows had been free to attend. This one will be ticketed. There's a pre-sale April 4th at 10 a.m. General ticket sales April 5th. All winners are determined by Rogers and Yang, but the two hint that, like with Swift, they could be swayed by who decides to participate. Kenan Thompson has spoken out about that Quiet on Set documentary. This one, The Dark Side of Kids TV. It got into some stuff going down at Nickelodeon. We don't want to go there on this podcast, but, you can read it. People caught up with Kenan, who said, "It's a tough subject. It's tough for me because I can't really speak of the things that I never witnessed because all these things happened after I left." Remember Jon Stewart had a show on Apple that none of us watched, and then he left all of a sudden? Well, the other night, Jon was interviewing Federal Trade Commission Chair Lina Khan on The Daily Show. He told Khan that he once pitched to have her as a guest on the Apple show. Jon said, "I wanted to have you on a podcast, and Apple asked us not to do it. They literally said, please don't talk to her. They wouldn't let us even do the dumb thing where we just did in the first act on AI, meaning a segment Stewart did on The Daily Show, in which he criticized the rise of AI and spoke about how it's making human workers obsolete." Stewart asked about Apple, like, where's the sensitivity? Why are they so afraid to even have these conversations out in the public sphere? Khan answered, "I think it just shows the danger of what happens when you concentrate so much power and so much decision-making in a small number of companies." Variety reached out to Apple for a comment. They did not have one. Open letter to Roy Wood Jr. Let it go, man. You got to just let it go. Roy, let it go. Roy was on with Samantha Bee on her podcast Choice Words. You may recall, Roy kind of wanted to host The Daily Show. So do I, but Roy didn't get a chance. Do I want to host The Daily Show? Sure, I'll host it. I'm free next week. Call me. Roy Wood told Sam B, "I've had the gift of choosing to jump out the window a couple times and being kicked out of windows a couple times over the course of my career. I have more control if I jump because I know where the grapple hook is. Shows are getting canceled. Streamers are collapsing. The industry is slowly imploding. And I'm not just talking about late night. I'm talking about the type of programming that studios and networks will show confidence in and stay behind. So that fear is kind of what showers over me. It's also rooted in if this industry's shifting and if it's changing to something different, now's the time to be first in line for that thing. I've always viewed opportunities in entertainment like a grocery store. We're all in line to be checked out, and then you look over there and a new register's opening, and you're trying to decide if that register will be faster than the line you're in. I like this analogy a lot. And I've been in this line for 8 years. It's a good line, man, but you're looking over there, and I just chose to get out of line and go to another line. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know if that's the right move. As for The Daily Show, it was the best time in my life, but without being able to have an accurate vision for how it could end, I had to choose my ending. He said when he left, he had no idea that Jon Stewart would be coming back to host Mondays. That was not in the conversation. That was not even a rumor. Had he known, he might have decided differently. He said, "I do hate that I missed out on some of that good Jon Stewart tutelage. That would have been dope." Joe Flaherty, best known for his roles on Freaks and Geeks, and to me, his sketch work comedy on SCTV, has passed away at age 82. After serving in the U.S. Air Force, Flaherty joined Chicago's Second City Theater. He was instrumental in bringing Second City to Toronto. He starred on SCTV for 8 years and appeared in 75 episodes, during which he created memorable characters like Count Floyd, Guy Caballero, and Big Jim McBob. Joe Flaherty was 82. All right, it is time for Comedian Fights. I was prepping the show. I was on Twitter. I saw Gianmarco Soresi's comment here. Gianmarco tweeted, "Hey guys, there was a little bit of drama on one of my San Diego shows this past Friday. I made a video response over on TikTok that lays out my side of things, but happy to answer any questions you may have. Thanks." So I'm going to play it here. I watched it. Gianmarco looks bothered by this. He seems to be freaking out. He's not doing this for laughs. He seems genuinely bothered. During this clip, you're going to hear him refer to his opener. I will set this up for you. The opener is wearing what to me looks like a red t-shirt, but it's a really, really big red t-shirt that goes down to like the guy's knees. That is key to this drama that we're about to unfold. Also, near the end here, when Gianmarco takes the stage, I have edited out several swear words, but you'll get the gist here. Okay, here's Gianmarco on TikTok.
I just want to address something that another comedian has been saying about me on TikTok. Long story short, I was headlining in San Diego this past Friday, and right at the gate, let me say, this guy, he's not my normal opener. My normal opener is named Liam Nelson. He was not available, so the club assigned me this guy. He said I was late. I was not late. It was a 7 p.m. show, sold out crowd. The club asked to push it back 20, 30 minutes so they could get everyone in there. So that's number one. Number two, he said that I was like I made fun of him or his outfit for like 15 minutes. I said a couple of small jokes. He had a absurdly large shirt on. So it wasn't like I wasn't trying to like haze him or anything. Let's play the video, or do I point here? Whatever.
Very nice, very nice. Good to see everyone. This is good. Let's do this. So make some noise. We've been to a stand-up comedy show before.
I'm not going to say something about that. Here's one more angle, just so you understand how big this shirt was.
This is good. You guys are going to be a fun crowd. I love to see that. This is exactly what you want. Yes, thank you.
So yeah, when I went on stage, I made a couple jokes about that shirt because I think it's my job to address the elephant in the room. I mean, this shirt was big enough for an elephant. And I just want to play the video for you. You can judge it for yourself, but like, I certainly don't want to be known as someone who's bullying or making fun of their openers. I appreciate my openers. So you just play it.
Really, guys, I need y'all to truly go buck wild right now for Gianmarco Soresi.
That was a big ass shirt. Am I right? That was, I was watching the back. I was like, my opener's 3 kids in a trench coat. I thought the curtain was just stuck on him like this. And then I was like, oh, it's coming with him. Give it up for Ty, though. He was a good guy.
Comedian J.P. McDade reacted and tweeted, I've opened for Gianmarco a few times. I know his act is basically Dane Cook the musical. What a great line. Dane Cook the musical, but he's a good guy and a surprisingly good hang. If you're an opener trying to get sympathy for him roasting your shirt, which looks like the Elmo Parade float deflated on you, grow up. Gianmarco tweeted back, not quite the defense I wanted, but probably the defense I deserve. Persian Cat jumped in and said, Dane Cook comparison and a surprisingly good hang? Oh my God, he kind of hates you. More strife. Elon Musk responded to a tweeter. The tweeter had tweeted a screenshot of John Oliver, and Elon responded, John Oliver hasn't been funny for years. Oh, I disagree, and you might want to watch on Sunday night, Elon. More strife. DR in the Facebook group. Not happy with my Billy Joel hot take, DR wrote. Billy Joel is the best, all caps and 4 exclamation points. I used to sing professionally, would always love it when a Billy Joel song was requested. My favorite, She's Got a Way About Her. Hashtag lay off my Billy. Another shout out to Aaron. I was thinking of Aaron this morning when I was QCing the show. I always listen back to the podcast on my way to the National Donuts chain, and it just worked out. I was in the parking lot of the donuts chain when I heard me from yesterday thanking Aaron for buying me not 1, but 2 coffees at buymeacoffee.com/daily comedy news. So you get double thanks. Thanks very much. The Webby Awards are coming out. There's just too many of these things. For example, last week I told you somebody won some comedy podcast award. Do you remember who it was? Because I don't. Anyway, the Webby Awards, the nominees for comedy shows podcasts are Conan, Kevin Hart, Hold Up with Dulce Sloan and Josh Johnson from The Daily Show, which apparently is a podcast that exists, The Bald and the Beautiful, and whatever Trust Fall from Broadway Video is. What's Trust Fall? While I look that up, to be nominated, you submit yourself. You don't get nominated. You submit yourself, and then they consider you. The application, I understand, is $495. There are some, discounts for students or whatever, but, this is a moneymaker. So let's understand what this is. Trust Fall is a new podcast hosted by Jordan Gleason and Logan Williams. In its incoherent ramblings, wanderings, and convos with like-minded peers, it attempts to explore day-to-day life, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so that's nominated. Are you excited? They also nominated individual episodes, the nominees for individual comedy episodes by Bitch Sesh, Fly on the Wall, How Did This Get Made, Las Culturistas, and The Comment Section, a Spotify podcast. Again, you can, next year, if you want to jump in, $495 will get you an application, and you might make yourselves to the finals. Okay. Speaking of awards, the Golden Globes have set January 5th for the 80-second ceremony. This will be on CBS Live, 8 to 11. Now, in case you're wondering, would there be a football game on that before? Yeah, on January 5th, there'll be football on Sunday. And that leads to the next question. What is the difference between the NFL and the Golden Globe Awards? Well, Joe Coy has the answer for you.
As you know, we came on after a football doubleheader. The big difference between the Golden Globes and the NFL, on the Golden Globes, we have fewer camera shots of Taylor Swift.
Boy, what a horrible mean joke. That was so mean. Oh, I didn't prep here. The next thing on my rundown, it says Melbourne, and you're about to get my daily slow burn about how slow this website loads. All right, where are you, Melbourne bookmark? Let's see. I'm recording on April 2nd. You're listening on April 3rd, which means in Melbourne, it is April 4th. We're a little long again today, so let me do some that don't have clips. I'll save the clips for, when I need to pad a little bit. Ronnie Neville, all Irish storytelling. He's got a nice logo where he's standing in front of the Irish flag, making a what just happened kind of face. Caught my attention. Let's see. Come and experience the globe-trotting international Irish storyteller, Ronnie Neville, from Cork to Perth, with a suitcase full of stories, tales from the bogs and streets of Ireland, watered and grown on the floorboards of Irish pubs. Truly, this man is either a genius or a lunatic. You decide. Fringe Feed gave it 4 stars, saying the set was reminiscent of the style of Billy Connolly. Express Mag also gave it 4 stars and said, hilarious. It's not much of a review. Here's one. Stuart Dalman, Into the Galaxy. He's wearing an orange traditional spacesuit in his logo. 2018 Moosehead recipient. Now, I don't know what that means, and I'm about to Google it. This has brought me to the Moosehead Awards. I'm on their About page. It says, welcome to the Moosehead Retrospective, a year-by-year review of where it all started and where it is today. We have a keen eye for picking the stars of tomorrow. As you can see, 2023 recipients include Prue Blake. We played Prue over the weekend. You can apply. You think they get $495? Let's see. What is the Moosehead? It's an organization that wants to give financial support to Australian comedians putting on new shows at Melbourne. Oh, that's cool. Why do we want to help you put on your show? The Mooseheads have a really long history of supporting comedians in the Melbourne Festival, et cetera, et cetera. How will we help you? 1, we'll pay your Melbourne Comedy Festival registration. 2, we'll pay the first $3,000 of your venue rental. 3, we'll pay you up to $2,500 for you to have creative support. Wow, this is cool. See, John, you were making fun of these guys, and they're like super awesome cool. 4, we'll do some overhead marketing. 5, if you live outside of Melbourne at the time of application, meaning more than 90 minutes from Melbourne Central Business District, we'll contribute up to $2,000 towards your accommodation. Remember, all these dollar amounts are probably Australian dollars, so do like a times 0.6 in there. The Mooseheads try to make it easier for comedians to collaborate and stretch their creative legs. All right, we like the Mooseheads. The Mooseheads are cool. See? And I was making fun of them. What a jerk you are, Johnny Mac. Stuart Dalman's show was given 4.5 stars by The Music, who said, it's both cynical and brilliant, and on every level it works. Kind of like this podcast, huh? Yeah. Half Beat Magazine, 4.5 stars. They said, brilliantly crafted. The Herald Sun, 4 stars. Their description? Prep or weird. All right, and our friend of the show, Dan Bublitz Jr., he's been a guest. I got to have him on again. We've been emailing about it. Dan, I've just been so busy. You know what's going on. Just haven't had a minute. The Loveland Reporter interviewed Dan. Wonder if Dan's cringing right now, wondering if I'm going to goof on him. I don't know if I'm going to goof on you. I don't pre-read articles. Dan said, comedy is something that really brings people together. It's the thing everyone can find common ground on. How did Dan get into comedy? Oh, no. The short answer is I got divorced. The longest version is I got divorced after a 12-year marriage and felt like I'd wasted the last 12 years of my life. In hindsight, it wasn't a waste, as that experience helped shape who I am today. And comedy is something I've always wanted to do, so I decided that I didn't want to be a person that looked back in life and wondered, what if? Instead, I wanted to look back and know what happened, whether I succeeded or failed. I also wanted to overcome my fear of public speaking, so I found a local open mic and signed up. I remember when my name was called and I walked on stage and looked to the audience as I grabbed the mic. All I could think was, what did I get myself into? Then I told a joke and got a laugh, and I've been performing ever since. When I first started, it was scary and nerve-wracking because I had a fear of public speaking. The more I've done it over the years, the easier it has gotten. No matter how long one does it, making a room full of strangers laugh is the hardest thing to do, but the most rewarding. Dan, do you prefer improv or a script? Dan says, I think it's better to have a mix of both. I've taken improv classes and it's helped my stand-up tremendously. Comedy should be somewhat loose, and when a comic has a set script, it's easy to feel more like a copy and paste performance than a one-of-a-kind experience for the audience. Yes, one of the Australian comics I played on Sunday, I made that note that it just sounded like a performance rather than vibing with the audience. Dan says, I've written plenty of jokes, and I usually write out a set list for each performance that acts as my guide. I know where I want to start and where I want to end, and whatever happens in the middle doesn't matter, as long as the audience is having a good time. Who are Dan's favorite comedians? I hope he doesn't say Adam Sandler, or we're going to not be friends anymore. He said, that's a very tough question to answer. There's so many greats. George Carlin, Richard Pryor up there. As for working comedians, I'm a big fan of John Mulaney, Mike Birbiglia, Steve Martin, and Mark Maron. Great list, Dan. Congrats on the article. Check out Dan Bublitz. at danbublitz.com, DANBUBLITZ.com. Want to hear some of Dan's comedy? You do. Let's do it.
And a lot of guys, they'll brag about dating outside of their league, right? Like they'll say, this woman's way out of my league. And I think any guy that's with any partner, you're out of your league. That's how I look at that. Doesn't matter. You're always out of your league. That's just the way it is. But what I've come to realize is that not only am I out of my league, I'm out of my tax bracket. Because she wanted to go see a financial planner. And those are two words that are not in my vocabulary. Not at all. But I was like, you know what? I want to be a supportive partner. I'll go see the financial planner. Let's do this. And so we did. Of course, he had questions right away. He wanted to know what my name was, what I did for a living. So I well, my name's Dan. I'm a stand-up comedian. Oh, that sounds like a fun job, Dan. Well, I got to ask you a few questions. First question, what are your future financial goals? I said, well, if I could pay rent tomorrow, that'd be fantastic.
Nice. All right, Dan Bublitz Jr., friend of the show. If you want to hear the rest of that set, it's up on his website, danbublitz.com. And that's your comedy news for today. Tell a friend about the show. They might like it too. See you tomorrow.